Zach Clark here for Space Coast Daily. Joined with me, as always, for the Friday Night Locker Room, Orville and Steve. Guys, we're out here at the 7th Annual Arts and Crafts Festival here at the City of Rockledge, and it's a great event that you helped put on, Steve, and you as well, Orville, and it's been a great event so far. Great weather today. Rather than yesterday. Talk about the event in general.
Yeah, it's been amazing, especially today with the weather. You can see in the background how clear and nice it is. Well, the City of Rockledge has about 80 arts and crafts vendors on the street. We brought in cars yesterday from Car Show Club. Had about 75 rolling in at 1 o'clock on Saturday. And then today we brought in Queen Elsa and Olaf from Frozen. So we had a lot of excitement with the youngsters and the oldsters, as Orville had his picture taken with the Queen earlier. But it's been a lot of fun with the weather cooperating. It's really brought the crowd out, and that's why the City of Rockledge does this, to do something for the residents. It's been very successful.
I know you were very excited to take a picture with the Queen, weren't you, Orville?
Oh, absolutely. That's just one of the things, when you know Steve Wilson, you get to do a lot of special things that normal guys don't get to do, and one of them was to be able to get pictures with her. So that was a very exciting part. But this whole thing started a few years ago when the City of Rockledge decided to redo Barton Boulevard and make it bigger, wider, new sidewalks, new street lights, the whole thing, to try to make it kind of a family-oriented thing. And the reason they do the craft shows and the car shows now is to get the people to come back to Barton Boulevard, meet the restaurants that are on the street, the Crest Cleaners, the Strategic Auto Repair, Walgreens, the whole bit. That's the reason, is to you're not going to create something like Cocoa Village, but we're trying to create a family atmosphere where you're not afraid to walk down the sidewalk at 7 o'clock at night because it's well lit, it's well patrolled by the Rockledge Police Department. It's just it's a nice place to go.
All right, guys, we're going to talk basketball here. We're going to start off with the girls' edition, and we're getting pretty close to district playoffs here that begin this week. So we're going to talk girls. And Steve, we'll start off with you here in the 2A.
Well, the Merritt Island Christian Cougars continue to dominate at this point, but domination doesn't mean a lot because at playoff times everybody plays, loser goes home except the final two. But I love the way Merritt Island Christian is playing. Covenant Christian's going to give them a battle. Masters Academy out of Vero Beach will be competitive. Morningside down a little bit, but look for the Cougars to do well when districts roll around, which is this week.
Orville, over into the 3A.
3A, Class 3A District 13, that's Benjamin out of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida Air Falcons, John Carroll out of Fort Pierce, and MCC Hustlers out of Melbourne. We concentrate normally on MCC and Florida Air, and like Steve says, those two teams in his district he likes. I like those two teams in that district for the girls. MCC was the #1 seed last year in the district, Florida Air #2. They're going to fight it out again this year for that. Florida Air with a nice win this week over BK Young, 63-34, but the districts start, and that's when the exciting time is.
Steve, let's swing it over to the 4A.
4A all year long has been the Astronaut War Eagles and the Cocoa Tigers, and I don't see any changes there. West Shore can be competitive. Space Coast, when Miranda Middleton and Michelle Marie are on their game, are very good. But I think when all's said and done, it's going to be the War Eagles and the Tigers in Class 4A. Which one of the two on top? Coach Greg Hostetler's ladies are really playing well at this point in the season, but it's going to be a fun district to watch.
He likes the War Eagles and the Tigers. Orville, down into the 4A.
Well, Class 5A.
5A.
Class 5A, we have two districts, 14 and 15. First off, in Class 5A in District 14, you have the Merritt Island Mustangs, the Rockledge Raiders, the Satellite Scorpions, and the Titusville Terriers. Last year, the Titusville Terriers and the Rockledge Raiders knocked around heads. Titusville was the #1 seed in the district, the Rockledge Raiders #2. This time, I think it's going to be backwards. I think the Rockledge Raiders are going to be the #1 seed in the district, and the Titusville Terriers will be the #2. Merritt Island lost a couple games this week, and Satellite did the same. So, I like the Rockledge Raiders at 1 and the Titusville Terriers at 2. So that's who you'll see in the district final. Will be the Rockledge Raiders and the Titusville Terriers.
All right, Steve, let's swing it over to the 6A.
It's been the Edgewater Eagles out of Orlando. The Lady Eagles have dominated from the beginning. They're dominating now. They're going to win the district. They're going to be the #1 seed. I'll be shocked if they don't win the district. I like the way the Heritage Panthers are playing. They've been consistent all year long. They've been, realistically, everybody else has been playing for the #2 spot. That's East River and O'Galley. But Edgewater's going to win the district. Heritage, I think, has a very good shot of maybe being district runner-up, which means they're in the regions that have to travel, but you're in the top 2.
And Orville is 7A.
7A, you've got Martin County, the Melbourne Bulldogs, Sebastian River Sharks, and the Vieira Hawks. Last year, the Vieira Hawks and Martin County fought it out. Vieira Hawks were number 1 in the district, Martin County number 2. Will not happen that way this year. I think the Melbourne Bulldogs and Martin County this time will fight it out. Martin County may be the number 1 team in that district, but Melbourne right there with them. Vieira Hawks down a little bit this year. Sebastian River still having the same problem as they've had in the past about winning ball games. So I like the Vieira Hawks. I mean the Melbourne Bulldogs in Martin County to fight it out in the final in that district.
All right, guys, now we're going to do the girls' top 5 here up next. And Steve, who do you got in your top 5?
Well, Orville's going to be proud of me. I don't have a top 8, 10, or 12. I'm going to talk about 2 teams. That's the Rockledge Raiders, who I think are the best team in the county at this point in the season. I give them a slight nudge over the Falcons from Florida Air Academy, even though Florida Air beat them a few weeks ago. I love the way the Raiders are playing. I like Astronaut. I like Melbourne. There's a number of teams that are probably in the top 5 or 6, but I'm talking about 2, and it's the Raiders at 1 and the Falcons at 2.
Okay. And for Orville, who do you got over in your top 5?
Well, you know, the first thing I have to say after 5 weeks of this, Steve finally got it right, liking the Rockledge Raiders at number 1. But, you know, Reuben Williams and the Rockledge Raiders have been playing great basketball all year long, and I think they're going to continue that into the district, and it's just something that you know, they're going to have to live with. But I like the Rockledge. I'll go backwards. I'll go the other way. I like the Rockledge Raiders at number 1. I like the Titusville Terriers at 2. I like the Cocoa Tigers at 3. Steve spoke all year long about them getting their big girl back in the middle. They've done that a couple games ago or a week or so ago. She's playing well for them. So I like the Cocoa Tigers there. Number 4, Steve's favorite, one of Steve's favorite, Florida Air Falcons. I've got them at number 4. And I've got the Melbourne Bulldogs, who started slow during the first part of the year, but they've beat some quality basketball teams here lately. I like them in 5, and I think they're going to do well in their district.
It's very rare to see you guys agree on something.
Yeah. He's wise enough.
There we go. All right, guys, so that was the girls' edition there for the top 5 in the overview.